Big welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. The topic we've got for this particular circle is relaxation, and particularly deep relaxation. It's always the best question to ask, well, why is this important? Quite a lot of meditation traditions, when they teach meditation, give absolutely little or no attention to relaxation at all. My understanding of that is that in those traditions that do that, the culture is innately relaxed. I think you get a sense of this if you go to some of the Asian countries. There's just a deeper level of general relaxation in people, maybe in India too, and certainly in the less urban areas. In the West, we tend to carry a lot of physical tension. And so when it comes to our actual practice, physical relaxation is really important for two major reasons. One is that when you practice, whatever position you're in, if you've got physical tension, then it's actually going to be hard to progress, because if you've got physical tension, you'll end up getting physical pain, and that'll become quite a significant obstacle to sitting and practicing for longer periods. Also, if you've got physical tension, it's very hard for your mind to become clear. So that practical situation with your practice, physical relaxation, is an important prelude to all types of meditation. There's this really strong mind-body connection which links relaxation with stress. Most of us are aware of the stress response. If we get a fright, we sort of tense up physically, we get muscular tension, but at the same time, there's a whole shift in our body chemistry. Heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up, all sorts of changes in our physiology. If that's a short-term situation, like you've stepped out onto the road and you just miss getting run over by a car, that's really helpful. It's important to understand that the stress response, the fight or flight response, is actually a survival mechanism. It's really useful, gets you out of trouble. And if you do get into a situation where you're likely to need to run away or you're likely to get injured, then that stress response actually prepares your body for exactly that. Where the stress response becomes problematic is when it becomes chronic. These days, many things that cause this in us, that get us uptight, get us worried, get us fearful, are actually chronic things, like the state of the finances, the state of the relationship, the state of work, the chaotic things going on in the world, the pace of change, the climate. There's just one thing after another. And it's very easy to get wound up by that, to get tense through that, to have the stress response, that fight or flight response, become a chronic thing. And the problem with that is that those biochemical, physiological changes that go with the stress response, while they're fine in the short term and actually helpful in the short term, if they go on chronically, they're just not helpful for the body to function. And in actual fact, what they do, we could go into a lot of detail about the biochemistry of this, and it's really fascinating. But the end result is that if you have chronic stress, you get what they call meta-inflammation. I think we all know about inflammation being things like inflamed tonsils, and that's tonsillitis, or an inflamed bowel or inflamed skin, dermatitis. Anything with an itis in it is inflammation. And that sort of inflammation is localized and fairly strong, whereas meta-inflammation is chronic. It's right through the body and not severe. So it's low level chronic inflammation. Over time, it sets you up to have a much higher likelihood of getting all the chronic degenerative diseases. So when you think about what's an early warning symptom for things like cancer, multiple sclerosis, diabetes, heart disease, even Alzheimer's, they've recognised clearly. Meta-inflammation is one of the common links and the common causal factors that lead on to, those, all the things basically you'd rather not get when it comes to illness. So it is really quite significant. But the good news is that this stress response is part of a cycle. It's not just a one-way thing. The thing that causes us fear sets off the stress response, the fight or flight response. Normally when that incident is over, say you thought you were going to get hit by a car but you didn't, and the car goes flying by having just missed you, then what happens is you go, oh, and that's the relaxation response. So in the normal course of events, you get the fight or flight response, the stress response, the tensing up, and then when it's all over, you get the relaxation and you let it go. And so that loop is the natural loop, and it's part of our body's really exquisitely clever design. If you think about your human body, it's actually incredibly well designed. You may be at a point in your life where you think, well, I wouldn't mind if it was a bit longer or a bit shorter or a bit wider or a bit thinner, or some of the curves were in different places. The body is just incredibly well designed. And the good news is it's actually designed to work. You remember in the old days you used to get computers and they just crashed all the time? Well, these days modern computers are actually designed to work and they don't crash. I'm constantly asking one of my IT wizard kids questions about the computer. You know what their normal response is? Dad, have you turned it off? When you turn it off, your computer goes back to its default settings and usually fixes all sorts of things. It gives you a really good indication of what we're on about here. Through learning the relaxation response, you actually break this cycle of stress, or you complete the cycle of stress, is a better way of putting it. It takes you back to the natural balance that we call good health. So that's the thing. If you're dealing with chronic stress, then it really behoves you well to learn how to let it go, how to relax. Ideally, you're relaxing both your body and your mind. The next important point is that when it comes to relaxing your mind, that's where this is all happening. Whether you're stressed or not, whether the stress is ongoing or not, it's actually in your mind. It's reflected in your body, but the actual issue is to do with your mind. So what we're really needing to do is to relax our mind. And I don't know if you've tried this, if you had a friend, family member who's really stressed out. You ever tried this? You go up to them and say, oh, I know what you need to relax. Usually the next thing is you need to duck, because your family member or your friend knows all too well that's what they need. But the problem is, how do I do it? It's very hard to tell your mind to relax. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. It's really easy to learn how to tell your body to relax. And by relaxing your body, then we tap into the mind-body connection, and it goes both ways. So just as the mind can bring tension into the body, when the body's relaxed, it can take relaxation into the mind. So use a method that really relaxes the body well and provides a vehicle for the mind to relax. We do this progressive muscle relaxation, which is the technique we use. We take our time, we do it thoroughly, do it mindfully, and as we do, we have the sense that the mind's going with it. We have this background knowledge that the mind and the body are connected. We allow the mind to go with it. We don't have to actively work at that. It's just as we feel the physical relaxation in the body, we allow it to drift into our mind. That's the rationale here, and it's why relaxation's so important. The best way I've found over decades to teach this is through progressive muscle relaxation. When I started teaching meditation back in the 80s, this was the main thing I taught. Many people learning with me used progressive muscle relaxation as their main practice. It's really got a lot of things going for it. You need to concentrate to do it. It's best if you do it mindfully. If you do it thoroughly, it'll take you into stillness. So it's a great practice. I've only been meditating for about 50 years, so I'm a bit of a beginner. I go back to the progressive muscle relaxation regularly, particularly if I've been working hard, feel that something's winding me up. It's a really good way of getting things back into balance. It's hard to recommend this technique too much for you, and I would really encourage you to consider it and act on it being one of your regular practices. That's probably a pretty good introduction to relaxation and the progressive muscle relaxation. Maybe we've got time for a couple of questions.
Yes, Ian, we got some really good questions. I don't think we have time for all of them, but I'll choose a couple. One is, I sometimes get a slight jolt with my head when I'm still during meditation. Is that normal or even beneficial?
Yeah, it's not unusual. I wouldn't say it's beneficial, but it's not harmful either. It's almost certainly a sign that your mind is relaxing quite well, going into a less physically conscious, aware state. And then it suddenly realizes that something's changing and it sort of snaps back. Some of you might have the experience, I hear of this quite a bit when people are doing, particularly the progressive muscle relaxation, actually lying down, get really deeply relaxed. And sometimes they feel that sensation where you feel like you're sort of falling into your bed, almost like being dropped from a couple of inches above your bed and dropping into your bed. It can be something like that as well. What to do with it is just to recognize that that's what it's about. So it's not anything to be concerned about. And it's actually an indicator that what you're doing is probably working. Just do more of whatever led into that. When it happens, don't pull out. Keep going with your practice. Go back into the feeling you had.
We have another good question. What's the best way to have a comfy breath while meditating?
Comfortable breath, you mean?
Yes, comfortable.
Breath sounds good. It's just what feels comfortable. In other approaches, and particularly in the Hindu approach and with yoga, there's very elaborate breathing techniques that are taught. And if you're wanting to develop mindfulness, some of those techniques can be useful because they hone your concentration and mindfulness. In the approach we're taking, particularly with our mindfulness-based stillness meditation, it's all about comfort and ease. It's all about finding this natural balance and allowing our body and mind to settle and be relaxed. We don't put any emphasis on breathing in a particular way. You might notice as I'm doing some of these introductions and guides into meditation, I often mention just allowing the breath to take up whatever rhythm feels comfortable for you at the moment. And that's basically the injunction. When you first start and become more aware that you are breathing, it's different because normally of course we are breathing, but we're just not giving it any attention. And again, this is one of the things that the body's really good at. It seems to have worked out breathing quite nicely and takes care of it for us, whether we're asleep or awake. But when we consciously bring our attention to it, it can feel a bit awkward. As a beginner, you might find it feels awkward to be aware that you are breathing. Hold your attention on the breathing, and you can notice the awkwardness, but not be put off by it. Just keep going. Maybe that means from time to time you take a somewhat deeper breath, or maybe you notice a pause in your breath. You breathe out for a while. Maybe you're breathing fast one moment and slower the next. What does happen as you relax more deeply is that you will find your breathing slows down. That's a natural part of the relaxation response. You probably become more shallow, actually, too. And in fact, when you're really relaxed, your breath can become very faint. It may even feel like you're not breathing at all. The interesting thing about that is if you do have that experience, which is not at all uncommon, when you come back into a more conscious day-to-day type awareness, it's not like you go, as if you've been holding your breath. It'll be really comfortable for you. And as you get up and move around, you go back to normal breathing rates. In deep meditation, your breath can slow down a lot. We can carry over questions too, Daniel, for the next time. But let's do some practice together now so that we have some good time to do this progressive muscle relaxation. And I imagine many of you have done it. Many of you have probably done it with myself or somebody else that uses this technique. It's often introduced in yoga. It's really very simple. It's a process of contracting and relaxing muscles in the different muscle groups from the feet, calves, thighs, and on up through each of the different muscle groups of the body. And while we're doing this exercise, the thing to focus your attention on is two. One is that you actually do it. If you get to your tummy region and you're off with the fairies or you've forgotten, when you notice, come back to my voice and pick up where we are. As you concentrate on doing the exercise, concentrate on the feeling in your body. What it feels like when you contract the muscles, and do it for a moment or two, and then what it feels like as you relax the muscles slowly over a couple of seconds, and then what it feels like when they're really loose. Like for all of us, when we relax our feet in this session, we don't need any tension in them at all. So if you imagine them as floppy loose like a rag doll, that's what you're getting to. Why we contract the muscles and then relax them, by contracting the muscles, you heighten the feeling of tension, and it makes it easier to get the feeling of letting go, the feeling of the relaxation response. So that's the way to do the exercise. We'll go through each of the muscle groups, and when we get up to the head, then we'll just rest quietly for a few moments. So if you need to, take a few moments to adjust your body, get your body settled. And this exercise, particularly if you can manage it, it's good to be symmetrical. If there's a physical reason why that's not so easy, it doesn't matter so much, but all things being equal, if you can sit, this is a very good exercise to do lying down. If you do lie down, try and get symmetrical so it feels like each side of your body is equally placed. If you have your arms out to the side while you're lying down, that they're balanced and your feet are balanced. You've got that sense of symmetry. Okay, and so once you get into your posture, or if you're sitting up, good to have your back fairly upright, just as much as your body's comfortable. You might like to join me and let your eyes close gently. As you close your eyes, take your attention down to the feet. You might like to move your feet a little to help draw your attention down. Just feel what they're like at the moment. So you might notice whether they feel warm, cool, neutral. Maybe you notice some connection with the floor or with socks, shoes. And the aim is to let go of any judgment about whether it's good or bad. Even if you have some discomfort in your feet, just aim to notice it. Do what you can to let go of any commentary and sense of wanting things to change. And just be interested to really notice what your feet feel like at this moment. Track the muscles in the feet, so you just make the muscles in the feet tight, rigid. Hold that for a couple of seconds and then let the muscles go. Gradually relax the muscles and get the relaxation response, which is the muscles softening and loosening. relaxing, releasing. Just simply letting go. So then taking your attention up into the calves. And it's almost like with your mind, you're moving your attention through the calves, just being interested to notice what sensations are there in your calves at this particular moment. It's that sense of curiosity, openness, sense of inquiry. Now we contract the muscles in the calves, tightening the muscles up and then letting them go and feeling the muscles softening and loosening, relaxing and releasing. So that's that relaxation response, that feeling of just simply letting go. Now bringing your attention up into the thighs. And again, it's like ranging your attention through the thighs. Perhaps you'd notice some contact with the thighs in the chair, or if you're lying down with whatever you're lying on, maybe you notice some connection with clothing. Maybe your hands are resting on your thighs and you just notice the sensation of your hands as they're resting on the thighs. So now we contract the big muscles in the thighs, the front and the back. So it's sort of like bracing the thighs and then letting the muscles go, feeling the muscles softening and loosening. And feeling it all down through the thighs, calves, feet. Having that sense of the legs being really quite loose. But like you might imagine a rag doll, just no residual tension. It's completely free and loose. Now moving up into the buttocks, contracting the muscles, using the big muscles of the backside to lift up off the chair a little, then letting them go and just feeling the weight settling down once again. And feeling it all around the hips and through the pelvis. Sometimes it helps to imagine there's been like a belt or a band around the hips. It's just loosening a little now, just going with it. And feeling it all through the hips, pelvis, gentle area, relaxing, releasing. Just simply letting go. Now the tummy, contracting the muscles, bracing the muscles at the front of the tummy and the lower back, and then letting it go and feeling it all through the tummy. That same feeling of relaxing and releasing, you can imagine it being all through the tummy, all the different components in the tummy, that same feeling of relaxing and releasing. The muscles up either side of the lower spine. Feeling it all through. Calm and relaxed, just going with it. Calm and relaxed. Letting go. Now the chest, contracting the muscles, tight like a barrel, and then letting them go. And feeling it all around and through the chest. The front of the chest, through the breast, relaxing, releasing. Around the side of the ribs and then the upper part of the spine. Relaxing, releasing. And just allowing the breath to take up whatever rhythm feels comfortable for you at the moment. Quite effortlessly. Letting go. And just flowing with the breath. Arms, tightening all the muscles in the arms, making them stiff and rigid, and then letting them go and feeling almost like a wave of relaxation flowing down through the arms. The upper arms, softening and loosening. Down around the elbows and into the forearms, relaxing, releasing. Wrists, hands, fingers. Sometimes you might feel like a warmth or a tingling flowing into the hands and the fingers. Maybe even a lightness, almost like the hands could just be floating there, just going with it. The shoulders, contracting the muscles, the shoulders up and the chin down a little, and then letting them go and feeling the shoulders drop and feel it up through the neck and the throat. Calm and relaxed. The jaw, contracting the muscles, closing the jaw firmly and then letting them go and feeling the jaw drop a little. The tongue, soft and loose. And feel it all around the mouth and through the lips. And feel it up over the nose and through the cheeks. Calm and relaxed. Now the eyes, contracting the muscles, closing the eyes firmly and then letting them go and feeling the eyelids smoothing out. And feel it deeply all through the eyes. Almost like the eyes are just floating in their sockets. Feel it round the ears. The back of the head. up over the top of the head. And relaxed, just going with it, going with it. Now the forehead, contracting the muscles, frowning a little, and then letting it go and feeling the forehead smoothing out. Feeling it deeply. Completely. Feeling it through the body and the mind. Just going with it. Going with it. More and more. Deeper and deeper. Just simply letting go. Resting quietly for a few moments now. When you're ready, just let your eyes gently open once again. And some of you might like to turn the session off and stay with the practice a little longer. As we conclude, to again remind you of how significant this practice is and to encourage you to do it regularly. You can revisit this recording, commonly known as the Progressive Muscle Relaxation, and so you can get it through the recordings if you just want some audio support in your practice. I've been writing blogs about the different aspects of the 5 steps in our mindfulness-based stillness meditation, with those being preparation, relaxation, mindfulness, awareness and stillness. You can pick them up there. It's just iangawler.blog. Gawlerblog.com. Gawlerblog.com it is. And gone into it in quite some detail. And of course, it's in the Blue Sky Mind, my latest meditation book. So lovely to practice with you. It's one of the nice things about teaching meditation. You get to do the practice while you're guiding it. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you're enjoying being a part of this growing community. I'll be back next week.